Today I am sharing with you a junk journal that could potentially be my this year's December daily. This is actually a junk journal truly made out of quote-unquote junk. It is the culmination of the last decade of December dailies that I have worked on, and I have put it all together, reusing up those scraps of paper that I had set aside. And I'm going to walk you through this album, tell you the inspiration and how you can find instructions on building your own. So it started off with a book, just an old book that I ripped out the pages. And you can really see here where the pages have been ripped out off of there. I adorned it with all sorts of beautiful decorations. Let's first just take off this bookmark and take a look at this. This was from BB Craft. It's a little peg that you can quickly affix your favorite beads to. And then I just dangled a little mitten charm off the end and wrapped around a bunch of beautiful trims. And I've created that literally in minutes. The cover is a whole bunch of different textures and beautiful pop-ups. So I started off with a Minte Christmas collection from last year, and I popped up some various ephemera pieces. I fussy cut out part of these flowers from the paper. I attached some flowers with glue. I created this little Christmas tree. I wanted to tie the black in from the black that frames the paper that the actual color of the book is. Dear Santa, please stop here. Merry Christmas. And that is my cover. And then I added, of course, some fun little decorations, little pop dots. And the edges have been decorated with all of these beautiful trims. And we will see those closer as we go through the album. So my original inspiration from this came from Kelly Rich. So she had created a version of this and actually told me her original inspiration came from Maggie Holmes. Do you remember the Flourish collection? It's that far back. I remember this video from Maggie, and I will link it down below if you want to go and see how exactly she step by step walks you through how to rip out the pages and create an album using patterned paper. So I used a variety of different collections. The first time I've brought together a real eclectic mix of all different types of papers. I'm not sticking with any specific theme of color. I was just trying to use up papers. This was a fun little paint strip that matched perfect, and it says candy mix with candy canes in the back, so I thought, how appropriate is that? I left this full page in. So a lot of the pages you rip out, and then you basically sandwich together two pieces of patterned paper, just glue them together on either side, and it brings your page. Here you can see I've ripped out a whole section of pages because I really want to make sure that I'm not bulking up my album so much that it won't be able to close. And I've left in random sheets of paper. I've left in the best of times, the worst of times, because I thought it would lend to a good place to put a photo in here. This I've sandwiched together two frames, and I've created a photo spot for pictures. And here I have taken an envelope. Let's bring an envelope out to show you. So I've taken an envelope like this, folded it in half, and then just cut each side, bent it around the paper, and created a little pocket. So you could stick little journaling or pictures. I probably should put a little tab on this one so it'll be easier to get in and out. But that is what that one looks like there. And it all stemmed just from an envelope. I've made these little cut-aparts, my pockets, for these cute little gift tags to and from. And you could put a little picture on the back, or you could put a little, you could cut this out and make it all blank and do journaling on the back, or you could just leave it as decoration. Again, leaving some pages in so that you could, if I found I didn't need this extra page, rip it out. But I've left some in there because if I want to create more on top of this page, I have it there. And it just adds to the whimsy of the different types of materials that you'll find. So where I normally sandwiched 2 pieces of paper, I would normally put another piece of paper like right on top of that so you wouldn't see this edge. But I thought for this one, let's leave the edge because I'm going to be still putting more things on top of this. So it actually will be a nice backdrop for the 2 strips to be there. Then I tried to match up papers that in the spread themselves would coordinate with each other. And I really mixed a lot of the collections because if you followed me over the years, you'll know that I have done a decade of December dailies. I actually have a video series for December dailies on my channel that I will link to at the end. Here is a little pocket. So I created this pocket on a paper just by simply attaching a patterned paper. It was actually just a cardstock, this one. I taped it there so that I left this accessible for people to put little things inside. Home but not alone. I left that specifically, like I really drew out things from the book that may have had some tie to Christmas. And this is a little half page. I've stitched on a trim here. I've got another little smaller page, and you could really vary the size, shapes, and types of pages. You could do round pages. This was perfect. I have the little gingerbread man tucked in the gingerbread house. And here again, you can see how many pages have been ripped out. Sometimes I've left little spots so that I could still attach more paper if I find that I need more pages, or I could rip them out as I go and the book develops. This is actually packaging that you might be able to see that it's got a sort of shiny sheen to it that one of the collections came in. This was perfect with Santa popping out of the North Pole, and then this beautiful trim on the back. Again, this I might actually completely hide and use these wavy lines to frame a photo or some journaling. And then I left the last 2 pages, and then the blank cover is just simple like that. So that is what it looks like. I had a lot of fun creating this. It was a great way to use up materials that I already had in my possession that I had not wanted to throw away, but I didn't have enough materials to create a whole other project. Plus, I didn't want to buy more to match that collection because I'd already created with that. So this was the perfect solution. If you love this, let me know what you think down below. I'm just so happy with how it turned out. I think it's beautiful. And do you think that I should use this as my December daily? I had a different plan this year. I bought the Paige Evans binder. I'll show you. So this is what I was going to do with my December daily. I was going to make it in this album. And I combined Paige Evans' collection with the Hard Candy Christmas. This is the Simple Stories collection. I purchased this. I was actually shocked at how well these 2 collections coordinated. It was like they were made to be together, but they are completely different companies, different collections. So that was what I had originally thought. I certainly could do this next year if I end up using this junk journal. I had already started preparing my cards. I'll show you. I was going to do all of the dates with these Heidi Swap stamps that I had. I used I did 2 different ones. I was going to decide if I liked more stamps or just plain. But I used her large number stamps and created consistent numbers. I do not like the way that warm wishes turned out. That turned out really cute. I'm not loving that. I don't know. Let me know what you think. I can easily make more of these different ones. Some I added additional stamping. Some I left just simple. But I picked the colors specifically from that last collection so that everything would match. It's kind of hard to see that December over the brown. Anyways, this is how I wanted to number my collections. It was a full day's project to create all of these different cut-aparts. I like that with the little Santa hat stamped on there. Sometimes it was hard to keep track of what numbers I had worked on as I started laying them out so I could see them, because I was trying to be efficient. I would do 1, and then I would do 2, then I'd do 12, then I would do 20, then I'd do 22, like try to use up the 2 while it was still out. But it got sort of problematic where sometimes I would do the same number twice because I lost track of where I was. But that was a fun little project. So anyways, you get the idea with those. It goes all the way up to 31. And yeah, so let me know. What do you think? Are you team junk journal or team Paige Evans colorful collection? What is this one called? This is... It's not on any of the Sugar Plum Wishes. That's what it is. So are you team Sugar Plum Wishes or team Junk Journal? Again, you can watch these videos here if you want to see some of my past December dailies. And if you are interested, I will link down below the directions from Maggie Holmes on how to create this book. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you again next time.